This is the gap that we want to bridge of how do we create an ecosystem that talks to each other and brings healthcare, makes personal to you. So you become the CEO of your own biology.
Wow.
And you shape yourself. Rupali, investors look at the Indian chaos like a bug. Frankly, I look at it as a future. Because if you build in Silicon Valley, you are building in a spiral. While when you build in India, it's actually like building for a stress test. In the West, people trust institutions. In India, people trust people.
Yes.
When foreign companies build for India, that's another use case here about the previous question, was they build for algorithms. So the biggest disruption in health tech will be death of the patient. Okay. So in 10 years from now, don't look at health systems like a doctor and a hospital system that's treating patients for being sick. It's going to be a huge shift.
Hello everyone, I'm your host Rupali Sapkal and welcome to the Hashtag Show. Today we are extremely honored to host one of the finest minds in the industry, a creative engineer turned healthcare pioneer and also a co-founder and chief business officer at GOQii. Also a household name in preventive healthcare, Champ Alreja has helped millions move from reactive healthcare to proactive living, using technology to build health every day, not just treat illness. But from his early roots as a sound engineer and a gadget innovator to championing the idea of life off screen, Champ continues to redefine how technology can truly serve human life, and we are extremely honored to have Mr. Alreja, the real hero, the real champ here with us. A warm welcome to you, Champ.
Thank you, Rupali. It's such an honor to be on your show.
Absolutely.
And I've been following the other podcasts that you had for the first 2 seasons, and I'm really, really excited to be here today. And thanks for having me on the Hashtag Show.
It's absolutely an honor, Champ, I must say. So I just want to ask, Champ, so this name is quite unique and special. So the industry gave it to you or it came from your family?
No, it actually started as a nickname and it turned out to be a mandate after that. Because it's the name now that sets the intention, right? So as in business, in entrepreneurship, in tennis, the name has to be the intention before you even shake hands. And this name is not, it just keeps you in the loop that you're not here to participate in healthcare, you're here to win.
Wow, I absolutely vouch on that. So that means your parents already knew that their son is going to do something really big and massive.
I just hope I can keep up.
Yes, you are winning already. So many people are already your fan. So Champ, what is GOQii?
So it depends on who you ask. If you ask a techie, you'd say it's just a health tech platform. If you ask a user would say it's a habit changing, a behavior change platform that's helped them become healthier versions of themselves. But if you ask me, I think we are the world's first preventive healthcare platform. And what we realized in the early days was, the doctor, the tracker, the data stream, the human body, which could not be quantified, the insurance company, and the facilities like the gyms and the sports facilities, none of them talk to each other ever. And this is the gap that we want to bridge of how do we create an ecosystem that talks to each other and brings healthcare, makes healthcare personal to you. So you become the CEO of your own biology.
Wow.
And you shape yourself and like a car would, right? And this becomes like a green charging light.
Wow, that's something which is quite unique. So it's probably a true problem solver, if I have to put it across that way.
Absolutely. It's been more than 10 years now, and we've impacted over 5 million lives. And we've become a household name in India. I'm really proud of the team that have actually worked hard to make this happen. And it's about expanding globally now with the product that we've created.
Absolutely. And where about globally do we have our presence in?
So we've been working with the NHS and with modality clinics in the UK for the last few years. We've also been working with some insurance companies out of Saudi Arabia. This year is looking very big for us, with the Far East. Hong Kong is a headquarter for a lot of insurance companies, and so is Singapore. So those are key markets for us. You should be hearing some news coming out soon.
Wow.
The United States is some another place that we're headquartered in, and that's going to be a big market for us in the next couple of years, rolling out with great potential.
It seems like you've just not built a product, you built a hardware, a coaching network, gamification system, and behavioral frameworks simultaneously. Correct? At a time when none of this existed in India. So, what was your thought process? I mean, how it all started?
So the first thing is, I'll take you back to the car story. Right? So the first thing is, people never looked at themselves as a car. Like a car has a body, has an engine. It needs to be fueled. It has the comforts inside, and it carries you from place to place.
Yes.
But the human body has been always thought of as just a human body, and it's always lacked the discipline, the motivation, and so many other things to keep it in the best shape, to keep it well groomed, to keep it healthy on the inside, like you would do for a brand new car. So why can't people do that for a human body? I mean, your soul lives here, your heart lives here, your organs live here, your mind lives here. And we thought of how do we, use your data to give you an ecosystem, an environment, which is your gas, right? To fuel you, to run your engine longer, and let's say that's you living healthier and living for much longer than you would in a healthy way.
So Champ, beautifully put across, I must say. So in 2017, Goki became only the third Indian startup, after Flipkart and Paytm of course, to be featured as a Harvard Business School case study. How does that feel?
It momentarily felt very good because we were very young at that time, just a couple of years with GOQii. But frankly, it just had a moment of impact, and because Harvard Business School looks at history.
Yes.
We are always looking at the future and how to rewrite that.
Wow, that's so. I mean, that's really important, of course. But I'm sure that so many people who are like this, the students studying, it would have created a major impact, and they having a case study of GOQii, it's different, doesn't it?
Look, we're trying to impact lives.
Yes.
So whether a student or a mother or a uncle, we're happy that you've been impacted, and we really hope that what you've learned is something that you can pass on further, and that's why the Harvard Business Case Study felt good for the moment.
Okay, so what does recognition truly means to you?
So, like I said, right, we're here to win, and the recognition to us is in saving lives. If you can age better, that means as we age, right, there are three main parameters of us that goes down.
True.
Our cognitive health, our immunity, and our physical strength.
Yes.
And at the age of 70, these three parameters are very different than somebody at the age of 60 or the age of 40. But if you can keep those levels of a 40-year-old as a 70-year-old or as an 80-year-old, that is success for us. That is when I feel like, okay, we're building.
Wow, truly. It's more like anti-aging. Yeah?
You could call it what you want. It's more about you being, sorry to cut you short, but it's more about you being independent and not being a burden on the system.
Wow. Yes, that's correct. I mean, so being forever young, if we want to put it across in a very simple language. Yeah. Even at so age is no bar.
Age is no bar.
There's even if you are 60, but I think nowadays, of course, with the help of GOQii and so many things that we have existing, it's more about you feeling 20 or 25, even at the age of 60.
Yeah. And when people tell you that, it's the best feeling, right?
Absolutely, it is. So Champ, I also want to know, foreign investors often describe India as chaotic and difficult. You have navigated the ecosystem for over a decade now. In India, is India really chaos bug, or is it actually a feature?
Rupali, investors look at the Indian chaos like a bug. And frankly, I look at it as a feature. Because if you build in Silicon Valley, you are building in a sterile environment. While when you build in India, it's actually like building for a stress test.
Yes.
Right? And looking at our, population, our scale, our diversity, habit, trends, and so on. India's like this solid gym, and if you can build for India, means you actually build for the rest of the world if you can survive India. If you can survive the heat, if you can survive this environment, you can actually survive the rest of the world.
So, Champ, you famously built a wearable device from scratch in India, even when no real market existed. What do you have to say on that?
So, like Silicon Valley, you build in an air-conditioned environment. Okay, and the moment you build in India and you bring your first device under the hot blazing sun, and you turn it on and nobody can see the screen, people complain, and then you have issues with sweat, and you have the pothole paradox.
Yes.
So imagine you're wearing a new gadget, a new tractor that's never been worn before, and you're riding it on your bike, and you suddenly see it's picked up 1,000 steps. How do you deal with that? Right? But our explanation to customers is, we're not here for the engineering. Precision is for engineering.
Yes.
We're here for habit change.
Wow. That's quite interesting, I must say, and something which is going to change the perception of the entire nation. So, Champ, I also want to know the Indian consumer is also known to be highly price sensitive. So, does that mean companies have to build cheap products?
You know what? This is a huge misconception I've seen with so many companies abroad. And while I spend my time there, they bring this up. So there's a big difference between being cheap and being value conscious. People think of us Indians as we're cheap, but we are extremely value conscious.
Yes.
So for example, you go to a Ferrari showroom, you want to buy a Ferrari, and the first question you're going to ask, what is the mileage of this car? These questions you don't ask when you go to buy a Ferrari. We are just so value conscious, basically, as a consumer. But that means, that makes us even want to give our customers more, because you're not building for a $0 product or a $10 product. You're building for a $100 product, but you're giving value of infinity. And when you can do that is when you can actually impact Indian lives.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's truly the right thing that you said, because when you walk into a Ferrari showroom, you don't really, ask unnecessary questions. So yeah, that's right.
And in India, there's a customer for everything.
Yes.
Right? As long as they see value in it, they will buy your product. They don't need to ensure that you're just selling cheap stuff. Nobody really wants cheap stuff.
True. So it's more about, because I think every product has a customer, like every person is different with different expectations and with different usage. So it is.
Yeah. But for us, it was about, I think the biggest challenge was telling people to pay for their own health.
True.
That is usually the challenge, because nobody wants to get healthy. Or everyone wants to get healthy, but sitting at home. People want to take a pill and they want to get healthy.
Yes.
It doesn't work that way. It's the sum of all parts. It's one habit at a time. It's a chain of habits that work with one against the other, and it builds, and it has a compounding effect.
Yeah, it's probably like, they can sit on a couch, watch Netflix for a while, like maybe an hour and a half or maybe more than that, but only investing that hour to work out and shed some sweat, they are probably not ready. So
Nobody's saying don't watch Netflix, but why don't you watch it on your treadmill?
Yes, that is so right. I think that brings me to my next question. It's about the trust. So, Champ, you've always said that trust is your API, correct? So I want to know, what does that mean in practice for a global company entering the Indian market?
In the West, people trust institutions.
Mm-hmm.
In India, people trust people.
Yes.
Okay, and when foreign companies build for India, that's another use case here about a previous question, was they build for algorithms.
Yes.
When we build for India, because we know India, we are from India, we build for empathy.
True.
And so think about it this way, right? The moment somebody tells you, hey Rupali, your sugar levels are hitting the roof,
Yeah.
do something about it.
Yeah.
You're ashamed. You start losing trust. But if instead I tell you, hey Rupali, is there something I can do to help you bring your sugar down? Or something that you would like to do? You have that connection, and you respond, and you're back with the trust loop.
That's how it is. I think it's all about trust, and people are result oriented, correct? If they start seeing the result, but the initial challenge is for them to be habitual or probably getting used to or getting into that direction of going for it.
Yeah.
That has probably been a challenge.
That challenge was been addressed by the human connection that we have as a product from day one. And that's exactly why we founded GOQii, because we said that these trackers alone are not going to make the cut. I mean, they're just like an idiot box. So unless you have the motivation and guidance to help you look at the data from a tracker and nudge you to be a better version of yourself on a day-to-day basis, you're just dealing with a idiot box. So think of it like a Tata Sky box without the subscription.
Oh,
It does nothing for you.
absolutely. That is so true. I also want to know, you spend significant time growing the business globally, and I think especially in Hong Kong. How does decision making in India differ from decision making in global markets?
It's a very interesting question. It's a completely different mindset because, in Hong Kong and in so many other countries, we sell for I and me. But in India, you sell for the household, you sell for the family.
Yes.
The mother who's the head taking care of the house usually. If the mother's healthy, the kitchen gets healthy.
True
If
that.
the kitchen gets healthy, the other people in the house will get healthy.
Yes.
The father, right? If he buys insurance, he buys insurance for the whole family.
Yes.
It's not just himself. But that is one key difference, in foreign markets and here. Over there, people live more secluded and by themselves. So, in India, it's for the family.
Yes, I think it's always been like a close-knit family, or even if it's a joint family, but one person, if he starts a trend, let's put it across in a Gen Z way. So it's starting a trend and everybody following it, and for everyone's betterment. But then I think globally people are more self-focused, if we have to put it across that way.
Not self-focused, but they brought up to be more independent.
Yes.
Like a child living in America, from a very young age, learns to make his own bed and make his own food.
True.
So naturally starts thinking for himself first, then rather than collectively. I mean, it's just natural, cultural upbringing, that shapes the person. There's nothing right or wrong. It's just a different approach to life.
Yes, that's right again. But then again, that's also one thing when in a family, like one person, like as you mentioned, if a mother is healthy, automatically the entire family is healthy because she is the decision maker, especially when it comes to kitchen, right? Like replacing sugar with sugar-free, sweetener or something else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Amazing. So I also want to know, health tech in India involves CDSCO, data privacy laws, and constantly evolving regulations. So is this regulatory environment a nightmare, or does it actually become a long-term competitive moat?
To a tourist, this looks like a nightmare. But if you ask me, it's a very strong moat. For so many reasons. Firstly, it just makes the entry barrier so much more difficult for fly-by-night operators, which is something extremely crucial when somebody's looking at your health data and has access to your health data. And the government's just done such a fabulous job, to protect this data that, we are not approaching, we've never approached our users as users, but we approach them as citizens. And it's this moat that helps us, the trust is the moat.
Absolutely.
And government's done, I think, a fabulous job by keeping this trust intact.
So GOQii already has a massive reach of 6 million users, correct? And now you are targeting around 150 million. So how do you scale to that level without breaking systems, culture, or capital efficiency?
So, there's something in India that you do very well and that we've learned. It's called jugaad. And
Yes.
not only jugaad, there's a lot of process for scale.
Of course, yes.
And if we had to do this in the US, for example, and if we had to hire 15,000 doctors, we'd go bankrupt in a month.
Yes.
Right? But what we've done is we've used an exoskeleton model, which is the AI that takes care of all your data and your nudges, and it gives you patterns, recognizable, and telling the coach on what to do next. And the coach is what creates the empathy and the human connection. And that allows us to scale the number of users that the coach communicates with on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
To a very, very scalable model to like hundreds of users per coach. And that is what I meant by regard and using a process to scale. And 150 million is where we want to go because that has a compounding effect. So when you have 150 million people healthy, I'm confident that this number will make the planet healthy.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you all will conquer that super soon. I mean, looking at the confidence and looking at the entire ecosystem that you've built, it is truly going to happen very soon.
Thank you. It's mainly, you can call it like a low cost, low touch, but high empathy.
Yes, and I think the generation now totally needs it. Yes.
Wasting too much time.
Absolutely. So I also want to know, like, if for an investor wants to enter India tomorrow, what is the single most important piece of advice you would like to give them?
So one is, don't come to India to teach. Don't come here to do. Come to India to learn. Number one. Come to India if you have a long-term strategy. If you can rough it out for more than 3 years. It's not going to give you an immediate return. And there's a lot of learning to be done in the market. We've actually built some of the largest systems in India. We've built UPI, we've built the Health ID. These are globally the largest, payment and tech systems that have ever come out because of the sheer scale. And if you can scale, and if you learn and you have the discipline and the patience and the resilience to stay there and the vision to scale, you will get there. But you've got to be very patient and very resilient and, learn to burn the midnight oil before you give up.
True that. Absolutely. So talking about the future of health tech, looking 5 to 10 years ahead, what will be the biggest disruption in health tech and where should entrepreneurs and investors place their bets?
So the biggest disruption in health tech will be death of the patient. Okay. So in 10 years from now, don't look at health systems like a doctor and a hospital system that's treating patients for being sick. There's going to be a huge shift where there are no patients anymore. People are taking care of their own health. They are the CEO of their own biology.
Yeah.
A doctor is going to be like an AI algorithm who will be just watching your back and tracking you 24/7. And before you are about to fall sick, will tell you, this is what I think is going to happen to you, and you are going to get sick.
Yes.
Right? And the other thing that's going to happen is you take a big bet on keeping people out of the hospitals. That's my big bet. Hospitals are going to be empty, and people are going to live better lives, healthier lives, using all of this tech that we're building and others are building to do so.
I'm wondering what the doctors would do then. But then I think the vision that you have about making world a better place to live and breathe, when people are able to do their daily activities or chores without complaining and starting their day with positivity. Positivity starts when you feel healthy and active, right? And I think that has always been your mission.
Yeah, I mean, our mission and our journey for the user is kind of simple, and it starts with a pyramid. It's like a pyramid, right? And the bottom of the pyramid is helping people fix their sleep. As simple as that.
Yes.
And then is their activity, and then the nutrition.
Yes.
And eventually, on the top of the pyramid is happiness and purpose of life. The moment you fix these little things one by one, and starting with, and you kind of get comfortable in your own skin, which people aren't today. Everyone's trying to be too competitive. People are too conscious of themselves. They don't know, they're too judgmental, and there's just so many things, right? And it's always been. But the idea is, how do we make people healthier versions of themselves on a day-to-day, little by little manner, so they find happiness and purpose in life.
So Champ, so when you talk about fitness, because that's the most important aspect when we talk about your brand or otherwise your vision in whole. So what's the most important thing? I mean, how can they be fit? Is it about eating, or is it just about eating or working out? If you could.
It's holistic living. You sleep well, you wake up fresh. You wake up fresh. You eat something healthy. You pass it on to your family. It's contagious.
Yes.
Happiness is contagious, right? And you go like a better person to work. You can manage stress better in your office.
Yes.
You're not dependent on coffee. You're not dependent on other people. You have better interrelationships with your colleagues, and when you do that, it's better for your company because better relationships means more communication and more transparency, and more transparency means you can build something better because that's what teams are for. It's not that you're a commanding officer, you're the Hitler and saying, hey, do this, do that. Teams are for building things together. Coming out of that, you're back home. You can get quality time with your family, and you can hit the gym, you hit a workout where you spend social time with your friends, and have a good dinner and go to sleep. And one thing that we've been seeing is, and for a long time, was the biggest killer and the biggest pattern of unhealthiness that we're seeing is actually loneliness. And bad habits just cause loneliness, it's different factors, right? So, for example, let me just take you down another journey. You don't sleep well at night because you've been watching Netflix 2 in the morning after a meal you ordered from outside, and you wake up at 7 or 8. You're kind of irritable generally.
Yes.
And that pattern makes you irritable as a person. You think you're performing, others think they're not. Others think this is not what I signed up for. It's not a person I knew before.
Yes.
And your interpersonal skills change because of just a very, very basic thing like that. So if you can just fix your lifestyle and your journey with simplicity and one step at a time, with an agenda that I want to be just a little better than I was yesterday.
Yes.
I'm not saying do something radical. You will get there. And the universe will get you there. It'll support you.
Yes.
And that's what it is. And
so it's all about discipline. I mean, in a simpler, if you have to put it across in a very simpler manner. It is discipline when you introduce that, and when you think, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So it's a placebo effect as well, right? If you eat right, you give a signal to your mind that, okay, I've eaten right, then I'm going to function right.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Eating right, and also it's about having that motivation.
Yes, of course.
So I've seen a lot of people. In fact, this is very common that a lot of people, after they've had a bad moment in their life, or they've seen a friend go through a terrifying moment in their lives, that's when their lives change. And they get
So many breakups, for example, if you have to put it across that way, because now we are in a fast forward culture that people have their own way of thinking, expectations, and neither of them are probably able or probably wanting to understand, and that's probably a major cause of being lonely and then being a little undisciplined.
Yeah, but my question is, why wait for that?
Yes.
So if you just change the narrative of your own body, like think of it like a car for a moment.
Yes.
You take good care of it from the day it comes out of the garage. At least to your first few free services, it's taken care of. But after that, as a car owner, you take good care of it, and if you have a Japanese car that runs 10 years without the trouble, you might want to run for 15 and 20, and why not? And you want to maintain it regularly. You want to give it the best oil, the best fuel. You make sure that it's still got the best comfort inside and it looks great on the outside. You don't want to drive a dented, scratched, banged up car, right? So it's a sum of all parts, and just change the narrative of your body.
Yes.
And just do one little thing every day for yourself, and you'll see the whole life change.
Wow. That's so true. That's so right. So viewers, I'm sure you all are watching, and whatever Champ said, it totally makes sense, because it's all about starting or probably changing that one small habit towards healthy living.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what would you like to give advice to the budding entrepreneurs that we have, who are wanting to do something, prove themselves?
So, start with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get distracted with the
Mm.
The investors with the cash, with the pressure,
Mm.
because life's gonna throw so many things at you. You're gonna have
Yes.
so many your investors are gonna have expectations out of you. Customers are gonna, scream at you.
Mm. True.
The regulation's gonna kind of trouble you and make it difficult for you. But don't sway away from your purpose. I mean, if you really think you're an entrepreneur, means you need to have that grit, and you need to you need to be in the game to win. You cannot be in the game to participate.
Yes, true.
And that's my advice to you. So if you are in the game to win with a purpose, there's no way you're gonna lose.
Absolutely. And any advice for the investors from abroad? Like you've already mentioned that, learn from India, right? Learn and absorb the things that we have here to offer as well. But anything else apart from that you would like to mention?
There was this company that I was reading about that came from, I think Serbia or Ukraine or somewhere to India. And it was a small little tech company with just 16 employees competing with the likes of TCS and Wipro and so on. And the entrepreneur was so discouraged about India. He was told, don't waste your time in India, you're going to lose and so on. But he did something very clever. So he would go to all the events of all the fintech events happening in the country, the big ones. And he would go there to just find out what the gaps in the industry are and where the gaps are. He would go there to learn. Well, not only did he succeed in India, but something very interesting happened. He succeeded in Indonesia, in Philippines, in Malaysia, because these markets clustered are like Indian states, which are very, very diverse with patterns, with demographics. And he just took his India learning to build for India and ended up building for the rest of the world.
Oh, wow.
So be patient.
Absolutely. I mean, that's reminding me as if, so India is actually a master class for the entire world.
Oh, absolutely. It's a stress test.
Absolutely. Amazing. So now I want to know the Champ while he was growing up, while he was in school. Did he even thought that he's going to be the co-founder of a Unicorn?
Interesting. So there are a few things that struck with me while growing up, and a lot has to attribute to my father for this. So I'll tell you all of them in order. So I think when I was 7 years old, we flew to Hong Kong and just came back with so much of Lego, right? And Lego was something that was unseen and unheard of in those days. It was 1988, and I was obsessed with building. I was probably one of the young Lego makers around. And every day, without even brushing my teeth in the vacations, I would spend hours and hours just building stuff. And then, you have this little plate and you pick it up, and then often it would just break and the whole thing would dismantle and come down.
Yeah.
The first once or twice I must have cried, but after that, I realized that I'm going to build it better next time and better next time. And I never thought back then that life's going to be like this.
Lovely.
Right? But now when I look back, in fact, now that you ask me this question, it makes me look back. So that's one thing that, it's worth reiterating all the time. And I think that now I know where it comes from as a reflection. The second thing was, when we were growing up in my 8th grade, I remember my father was dropping me to school because I missed the bus one day. And he told me, son, you should try everything you want to try in life. You can drive your car, you can have girlfriends, you can have all the fun. It was embarrassing for me as a child, right? Like, father telling you all this while dropping you to school.
Yeah.
But then he told me, but you know why I'm telling you this? Because when you grow up, I want you to do things that have never been done before. I want you to get over all these fancies at a very young age. And see how can you change the world by doing something that is really impactful.
Wow.
So you get all this, in your 20s. And these are not big things for you to enjoy later on in life. So that's the second thing that's wrong.
Nice.
And the third thing was, I came from a business family and the only son. So typically in India, what happens is they're expected to join the business. What struck with me is again what my father told me was, he said, son, I don't care if you want to join the business, but I want you to be the best at whatever you do.
Wow.
If you want to be a sweeper, be a sweeper, but be the world's best sweeper. Don't give up.
Wow.
And that's why. That's the third and I think one of the three most important foundations that have stuck with me. And I'm following my path. And really want to make an impact. And if I can see that happen, I've actually influenced a lot of my friends from not playing tennis to playing tournaments, and I'm really proud of that. Not for myself, but for them.
Wow.
And if I can see that happen at scale, and we are seeing that happen at scale, is what I think we've won.
Wow. So you actually come from a family of progressive minds. Your dad being supportive, hence you are success and everything is a byproduct of the things that you do and the mind that you have.
Success is not money.
Yes, true.
And
I
luckily,
agree.
as our generations grow in educated societies like India, we're all kind of growing into abundance.
True.
Yeah. And if you have the greed to just go after the money and more money, you're gonna fail.
So Champ, like you rightly said, money is actually a byproduct of the work that you bring to the table. And of course, it starts with the mindset, with an abundance mindset that your dad had, or still has, I'm sure, and he's instilled that into you. And hence, this is the result the world is witnessing today.
Yeah. So, so my gurus are a little different than others,
Wow.
right? So I have 3 or 4 good gurus, and I've luckily been so fortunate to closely meet them all.
Lovely.
One was, of course, Mother Teresa, one of blessings when I was very young. Met her twice. The second guru of mine was, I grew up listening to U2
Wow.
and met the band a few times. But let me tell you something very interesting about them.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 4 imperfect musicians
Yeah.
who could barely play an instrument, and now turn as the world's largest rock and roll band.
Wow.
Okay, and impacted lives at scale, of course, using the power of music. And it's not about perfection. It's about equation.
Yes.
It's about purpose. It's about soul. It's about bringing your energy to the table.
True.
And if you can do that, and go the distance, never break up. You see how many brands have broken up.
Yes.
They were great bands, but we don't remember them because they don't.
Yes.
These guys they're in the late 60s and they're still together and they're still playing big stadiums.
Beatles, which one?
U2.
Oh, wow.
And they're all 4 imperfect musicians.
Mm.
And it's not about being a band of 4 Beethovens or
Yes.
that in freak magic. It's the equation, it's about the energy you bring and the purpose and how much resilient are you
True.
to take that across generations and fill stadiums across
Absolutely.
populations of different countries. And Rafa, the tennis player, was the other third guru, who again I've luckily met.
Wow.
And what was very interesting about him, again, he was completely the opposite of what a tennis player would be.
Wow.
Like Federer is a textbook tennis player, but Nadal was different. You never see a playing style like that. With this funky whiplash who looks like a cowboy and a horse. But he's the greatest tennis player of all time.
So goated.
Yeah, so you don't need to be perfect. Don't doubt yourself.
True.
That comes down, you don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Just be yourself, free yourself, get purpose and just put all that energy into yourself to do what best you can.
Lovely, lovely. That is something which has to be in alignment and everything just follows you. Don't have to be a part of the herd, but you probably be the leader of your life to lead ways to others.
Yeah.
It was amazing, Champ, talking with you and knowing such interesting facts about life. And of course, going back to your growing up days, truly, kudos to your father as well, I must say. Really an amazing man, I'm sure he is. And so is the product here.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Champ.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Okay.